Good morning, rise and shine. It is Green Nurse Carey Lee and Sherry time. Welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We're here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. And I have a special quick little video for you all because we love you. Here we go. We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.
All right, y'all. I think there was a little disconnect. Was there a little disconnect between words?
I felt that there was a little bit of a delay, but I still heard the message. And it's freaking kick ass, and love that commercial. Love it.
I'm going to tell you the whole reason why is because I need a reminder, right? Because here we are, we're in a new cannabis space, new industry. As nurses, this has never been done before. There's never been cannabis nursing programs. There's never been cannabis care. There hasn't been. And, when you're in this new space and you have so much passion and vision and love for the plant and want to help people, right? Sometimes, when it doesn't go your way, you kind of get stressed out and life happens and, we can lose our peace. And so this video reminds me of why I get up every day.
Yes. Yes, baby. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Feeling a little emotional today, but I'm here because I love you all. And I'm here processing emotion, utilizing all the tools that the plant has given me. Everything's okay. It's what's in here that starts to tell stories. And then that loop, you get that loop, the storytelling loop that is telling you things that aren't true. And we forget. And that's why Mark and I was doing this. We've been doing this every day, is to remind everyone how awesome they are, regardless of what's going on outside of ourselves. And now you've seen a moment of me being real and crying.
Yes.
And
and it's beautiful, Sherry, because you know what? You have to let yourself feel these emotions so that you can then release them.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get to that state of peace, inner
peace. And this
inner peace.
This actually leads into our topic. But before we get started on our topic, because it is about peace, it is about being the face of peace. Because as nurses, when we're showing up with these patients, they come to us scared, petrified, stigmatized, plagued. They feel down. They have no hope. So our jobs as clinicians is to be the face of peace. And that's not only for the patients we take care of, but that's with all people we interact with. Yes. So Carey Lee, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this morning. You are the hope and inspiration and growth and healing. Your transformation in the cannabis space has been amazing. You're one of the OGs. And so for the new viewers that don't know you, because there's a lot of new people that are showing, let everyone know how awesome you are.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is Sherry. My name is Carey Lee Allure. I'm a registered nurse. I am Green Nurse Iowa, one of the many green nurses here on the ground in Iowa. I also work in the psychedelic space as a ketamine nurse. I am a certified MD ketamine guide, and just really love what I do. I feel like my specialty is really mainly mental wellness, with specifics towards anything anxiety or depression. So yeah, this is passion work. I love doing this. I love helping people. I love seeing people go from where they start to seeing where they just thrive and just really end up living their best, right, Sherry? So
it is about living your life.
It really truly is.
And it's not about bypassing the human experience, right?
No.
So it's not. It's about meeting people where they're at right here, right now, and working with them in the present moment and caring, that caring. It's humanistic caring, transpersonal nursing, where you're connecting with the patient spirit first. I'm here for you. I'm here to hold your hand until you're ready to let go. And that requires us to be peaceful.
Absolutely. We owe it to ourselves and our patients to bring to them a certain state, a certain energetic state, and to make sure that connection blossoms and remains so we can help each other, right?
And then the key piece of that is we are human beings too. And we need to take care of ourselves just as much as we need to help others understand their need for self-care. And it is a process. It's a journey. And and I'm kind of like, I was embarrassed that I started crying. And I'm like, nah.
No.
What I was crying about. It was like,
I mean, you know what? We're breaking the stigma about cannabis. We need to break the stigma about showing emotion. It's not a sign of weakness. I mean, we're living the human experience, for Christ's sake. Excuse me for using that word, but I mean, seriously, you have to feel it. Here's what. I went for so many years avoiding those feelings and just cramming. And now that I'm finally allowing myself to feel the full range, it's a beautiful thing. Like we were just talking about yesterday. You know what? Those delicious, scrumptious moments in life. It's wonderful, but with that also comes the excruciating.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? I would avoid those scrumptious moments because of the excruciating. And now I want it all. I want it all.
There it is. That's important. This is important. So this is important for people to hear what you said. Because you've experienced traumatic events in your life, you disconnected and dissociated. So you didn't have to feel those icky feelings. But in the same time that you did that, you were also not letting in the good.
Absolutely.
Right? There you go.
Absolutely. So oh my God. You explain it so much better than I do, Sherry. Thank you.
Oh no, it's
my mind is like, anyway.
I've got a little ADHD, and for me, cannabis helps, but I have to rewire things in my mind so I can, so I can truly understand it. So it's almost like what you say, I repeat back, and I'm like, okay, how can my mind make sense of this? And I rephrase it.
I need to get into that.
That's all good, babe. It's all good.
Yes.
So the bottom line, right? Peace is a practice. Peace is a consistent choice of self-care. So the daily psychologist, Carey Lee, and I have been following her for a while. And she wrote something that was really, really interesting. And I thought we would read it. What do you think, Carey Lee?
Absolutely.
All right.
And this is the holistic psychologist. Just want to clarify, because she's phenomenal. You can find her on any of these social media platforms. She also has a book out. I don't receive anything in return for talking about her. I just think she's fabulous, and she's really helped me. I know she's helped Sherry in her own personal healing journey. So
yeah. So here it is. Here's what it says. Emotional regulation. Emotional addiction is so common. Most of us are unaware that we're in this cycle. Our emotions are valid. They're very important messengers. But most of us were not taught how to regulate our emotions. Most of us were conditioned in homes that may have been chaotic and where adults existed with the daily emotional roller coaster, meaning that all decisions, behaviors were run by emotional states. This will manifest as impulsive decision-making, anger, constant distraction, daily exhaustion where sleep does not feel rejuvenating. So here we go. Emotions are, as we just talked about, a mind-body experience. Our primal survival brain is activated so that cortisol, the adrenaline are released. Emotional states become memorized in the body and we unconsciously seek them because it's familiar. So understanding why we seek certain situations can allow us to relieve shame, become aware of how we do this, allows us to teach our mind and body new emotional states of wellness, like peace, safety, and connection, right? So basically, the holistic psychologist ends her reading with, I began healing through asking myself why. Why did I want to reach out to that person? Why do I want to watch this news story? Why do I want to seek relationships where I feel love within a cycle of emotional abandonment? Why do my friendships mostly exist as mutual complaining? Why does venting feel so good? Just notice without judgment and start asking why. So I just thought that was very powerful because, you know, in the midst of, that's it. This is what we talk about. You need to go in. The peace in it is not out there.
Absolutely.
Here goes my computer flashing
Oh
on.
no, I can still see you.
Well, the part that's really fun about that.
There you are. There you are. There you are. She's back.
Yeah. So I'm going to put up a slide because this is going to lead into cannabis, because cannabis has been a really, really great tool for so many different people to get those calm states of mind so they can process emotions from a place of not being in fight or flight, because your thoughts are completely different when you are in fight, flight, freeze, collapse, completely, as opposed to you were in a state of peace. And cannabis can help us. Cannabinoid therapeutics, cannabis, and all of the tools that support and nourish the endocannabinoid system can bring us to that state of peace. We just need to remember to do it. Right?
Exactly.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a slide, and we're going to talk about throwback. Oop, I got to find my slide because my computer kind of did a song and a dance and things went away. So we're going to talk about history.
We should say hi to anybody who's out there too. Is there anyone out there?
Yeah. Are you able to see them?
Let's see. I see. Oh, good morning, Eric. Ooh, yes. Beautiful AFA people. Thank you very much, Eric. Denise, Green Nurse Denise. Good morning, beautiful soul sister. And it looks like Melissa. Oh, happy wake and bake to you too, beauty. Love it, love it, love it. And let's see who else is out there. Brian Campbell is out there. Good morning, happy wake and bake from Monroe County Cannabis Coalition. Well, happy wake and bake to you too, Brian. That's amazing. I love it. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Tiffany Porter Rutledge is in the house. Good morning, Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's amazing.
Carey Lee, you're the bomb. Thank you for covering for me. So I can get this.
I love you, Miss Thing. I love you.
So here we go. So now we need to give thanks to all the grassroots people in the community that have allowed us to get to this point today. So we're going to talk a little bit about history of cannabis as medicine in the United States. So we have this handy dandy slide up here that Elizabeth Mack created, my girl at Holistic Caring Network. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, so this is what the history of cannabis looked like in America, right? So 1854, it entered into the United States. Dispensatory by 1920, cannabis extracts were marketed by Merck, Bristol Myers Squibb, Park Davis, and Eli Lilly. So the important thing to remember about that is that they saw cannabis as medicine. At one point in time, cannabinoids were in over 600 preparations in the pharmaceutical industry. One of my girlfriends who has been using cannabis for 53 years, she's in her 70s now. Her father used to keep cannabis extracts in his pharmacy right here in Massachusetts. So then what happened, Carey Lee? What happens in 1937?
Oh, goodness. 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act was put into effect. Alcohol prohibition moved to prohibit cannabis instead. So reefer madness, racially motivated prohibition. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen those reefer madness reels? It's like, I can't even believe it's.
Yeah, they're
I'm stuttering.
I'm gonna tell you, what we need to create? We need to create alcohol madness.
Yeah, like what?
Campaign.
Oh, sure, let's do that. Yeah,
right.
God.
They pointed that it was racially motivated prohibition. Well, here we go. Alcohol is definitely, it needs to be thought about in a different way, but that's a whole other story.
It is. That's all. That could be an entirely whole show. Like, I think with a large panel of debating and really, really digging into that,
So the bottom line with the Marijuana Tax Act is that it was prohibited because of other interests. The paper industry, the food industry, the alcohol industry. They wanted to remove something that would compete for it. And it had to do about money, and it was racially motivated to create those states of panic around something, propaganda. All right. So here we go. As we continue on, 1937, we're into 1941. So it was removed from the pharmacopoeia. So, cannabinoids were in a medical book, pharmacopoeia, where they were actually, you can look at prescriptions. And so they were listed in there. The American Medical Association opposed this, and they actually claimed at this time that there were a therapeutic potential. There was a role as cannabis as medicine. So basically, the medical marijuana segments survived throughout the world, specifically in Northern California. And we had this whole medical movement that has started to evolve and shift. And it's the grassroots community that has truly, truly, truly been an amazing influence in getting us where we are today. And I want to thank them all for that. Literally, all of you, you saved my life, because there was no nurses or doctors out there that were able to help me. And it was the community that did this. So I'm grateful for that. And then here we go. We're going to continue on to prohibition. 1970, the Controlled Substance Act. Again, politically and racially motivated.
Yes.
Categorized cannabis alongside with heroin, LSD, PCP as a Schedule I drug, which means there's no medical benefits and highly abusive. Now, that's just a really interesting story. How could that possibly be true when what we are seeing are all of these stories of health, healing, coming back, right? All of us have a story, maybe a personal one and a professional one when we're working with people in the industry. So there are plenty of medical benefits, and it is not highly abusive. And we've been dispelling those myths all along.
Yeah.
So then we get into 1996. We're evolving in the space, and Proposition 215 in 1996 legalized medical marijuana in California, and then other states have started to pursue. So right now on the slide, it says there's 36 medical states. There's actually 37. This slide is a little bit outdated. We're going to update it. 37 states medical, 18 states recreational. All right. So we're going to head down to something that blew me away. Carey Lee, what number? When you hear, are you ready? When you hear 66305, 6630507, what goes through your mind? It's certainly not heaven.
You know what goes through my mind? It's called a U.S. patent. A U.S. patent on cannabinoids by our government.
Right. I'm going to pull up that slide.
Some scientists connected to the studies.
Yeah. Isn't this incredible? Look at that.
Look at how mind-blowing this. Cannabinoids are found to protect cells, tissues, and DNA from damage and decay, limiting neurological damage following ischemic insults such as stroke and trauma, or in the treatment of neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and dementia. boom. What? I mean,
Yeah.
I am like boiling. I'm boiling right now. Are you boiling internally just reading this? This is like light my fire.
Yeah, because you know what? There's so many people that have been sick and suffering, and I'm going to bring it back to me. I'm one of them. I almost like
Mhm.
literally, I almost killed myself because I was so sick and in so much pain. And I laugh, but it's not funny. It's the truth. And to know that the government has a patent on cannabinoids was really, really gut wrenching. And it was like, they don't give a fuck. It's
Because
like,
what happens with Schedule 1? Let's talk about that.
yeah,
Schedule 1.
yeah,
No medicinal value.
right.
That's one of the criteria that would make it a Schedule 1. No medicinal value.
And so
What's this right here? What's
you have,
this little patent say? I mean,
yeah,
it,
the patent.
it's yeah. I could sure think of a lot of patients I've taken care of that have had, various forms of dementia that would have really, really, benefited from quality cannabis products versus, those antipsychotics and other medications that they tend to be put on for
Yep.
behaviors and whatnot. You know what I mean? Where just a little tiny, nice little tincture, a couple drops on a piece of cake might do them good. You know what I mean? Versus,
Yeah, I totally agree. And here's the other thing too. So when I learned this, and this was around the time, as I was starting to get educated and started to evolve in the green nurse space, this piece of information was critical. The other piece of information now we go over is the nursing, right? So you think about nurses. If this has been up here for a while, how have nurses missed this patent? That's what I want to know. How have we as individuals, and part of me is embarrassed. I'm like, how come I didn't know about this? Right. And so that piece of it, the patent, then we have the National Council State Boards of Nursing. And I'm just going to review that really quickly because it evolved. It's evolved. The cannabis has evolved as medicine, and now nurses are recognizing it. The National Council State Boards of Nursing is the nursing regulatory board that puts on the exam for cannabis, puts on the NCLEX exam for nurses to be trained and certified, get registered in their particular state. So the NCSBN, National Council State Boards of Nursing, is a very, very prominent regulatory board. And in the Journal of Nursing Regulations, they wrote a 64-page document. It's bound. It's like a book. And they talked about nurses, all advanced practice nurses, and all nursing students must have 6 essential areas of clinical knowledge when it comes to the endocannabinoid system. Carey Lee, how did you feel when you learned about that?
I mean, I think I've told the story. I didn't even realize that cannabis nursing was a thing until I was in nursing school and I stumbled across an article. And once I started learning about all of this, it was mind blowing. How do you not teach us this in school? How do you not teach us about the endocannabinoid system, this 12th body system? It's like such an important gatekeeper essentially of our entire being, So yeah.
Yep. And so the good news is, here's the good news, y'all. We're evolving. It's finally happening. There are 37 medical states, 18 adult use states. And you can see, every issue is it's still federally illegal. Every state has their own jurisdiction. Every state has their own program, and it's completely different. So that's one of the things that we like to talk about is part of the safe utilization of cannabinoids is knowing the law. Really important.
Very important.
Yeah. So this has been a fun little history. You have any other history tips and tricks?
Me? Not today, no.
Not today.
Not at the moment, I don't. No, coffee has not kicked in quite yet.
Well, you're an hour behind. So I think, Carey Lee's going to be co-hosting every Wednesday now, and a lot of her content that she's been creating in her specialty, we're going to cover on Wednesdays. So we're going to change the time, I think, to 8:30 so we can all sleep in a little extra.
That sounds really good.
Sounds really good.
I think that sounds awesome.
But in the meantime, what kind of community do we got going on here, Carey Lee?
Oh, goodness gracious. We have the Green Nurse Holistic Caring Community. This is a free community that you can come and join and learn in a very private environment. We don't have censorship in terms of like, you know, the FB word. We have lots of great offerings for patients, for clinicians. There's all different types of cannabis professionals in this community, both medical as well as non, and lots of wonderful stories to share. And
Lots of
freebies. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Free introductory to cannabis course.
There you go.
Just
Free
to get you started, give you a little taste.
Yeah. So intro to cannabis course, free monthly webinar, free patient portal, free patient support group, free book club. And you don't even need to own the book. How cool is that? We're pretty cool.
That is cool.
Right?
That is cool.
All of our podcasts are there. Carey Lee's there. All of the green nurses are there, and we're help to educate and empower you. You know, we want to answer your questions. The reason why we all have taken it offline is because it's a private community. We're developing an ecosystem, you know, based on that hope, inspiration, growth, and healing, based on science, you know, high science, you know, marrying that hope and inspiration for growth and healing, the spirituality, the plant wisdom with science, and bringing it all together. So that's what we're doing here at the community. Woo for you, woo for me, woo for we.
We love woo, woo, woo.
I know. Woo, woo, woo. So one last plug. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a live with green nurse Denise Costello. And we're going to be talking about energized living as we enter into the weekend, because we have our first green nurse retreat up at the Taylor Ides Inn in Dexter, Maine. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be teaching the guests, the people that signed up for the retreat, we're going to be teaching them about cannabinoid therapeutics, which includes cannabis, plus all of the other health and wellness tools. And we're going to teach people how to incorporate the majority of those health and wellness tools into their lives, and with the option of pairing it with cannabis. So when you hear a green nurse retreat, automatically people say, oh, it's going to be all cannabis. Well, yeah, cannabis is going to be there because that's what we're teaching, right? But you know, my mother, here you go. This is my mother. Oh, you're going on a green nurse retreat? Oh my God, is everyone going to be high? It's like,
yeah.
It's like hope, inspiration, growth, and healing. We're bringing them a different way of learning and a different way of experiencing the plant from a different perspective, right? So there's medicinal cannabis, symptoms of chronic illness, and then there's canna wellness, right? Using cannabis as a health and wellness tool. And I'm not afraid to admit, I use it recreationally because it's fun. And you know what? It helps my creativity and helps decrease my anxiety. And I'm able to get out and interact in the world. So here it is. So it's both. Think about it. I'm using it for anxiety so I can have fun. Well, guess what? That's better than a pharmaceutical, right? That's instead of the Xanax that I was on.
It's like a switch hitter. It's like a switch hitter, like in baseball. You know what I mean? Beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. So anyways, the bottom line is this weekend, Green Nurse Retreats with Energized Living. Green Nurse Denise is going to be leading the entire experience. I'm going to be her assistant. We're going to be teaching cannabinoid therapeutics at every meal. There are sponsors that have donated products. So every meal that you go to at the table, and we're all going to be together, you're going to get a little prize on your plate. And then the little prize on your plate is going to be a cannabinoid, multiple cannabinoids, a product, which we're going to teach about and teach people how to use it. So cannabinoid therapeutics with meals. Denise has meditation, yoga. We have a water ceremony in the hot tub with CBD bath bombs. We're going to have a fire ceremony, a drumming circle, and journey dancing. So journey dancing is really powerful. And then education and teaching people how to roll, how to consume, and have the embodied experience in an environment with nurses. So can't wait to be offering more of these. These are going to be great, you know, not only for patients, but for providers, so people can learn, you know, in a safe space. So this has been an awesome Throwback Thursday.
It has. Good. Great way to start our day. And let's get out there and kick the day's ass and just like, check it off the list.
Thank you, cannabis. Thank you, cannabis. Thank you, Cannabinoid Therapeutics, for showing me a different way. And may we all be the face of peace, right? And we need to remember what it's all about. It's about living your best life and helping others do the same. We love you.